our feet. The theme for our anniversary is found at 1 Corinthians 12th chapter, 12th through the 14th verse. When you get it, say, still saved. We will be preaching from one body, one team, one goal. And so we begin with verse 12. We'll read a little beyond 14 to accent, but we are grateful for 1 Corinthians 12, 12 through 14. When you get it, say, still saved. Amen. Come on, we need a couple more still savers. Amen. 1 Corinthians 12, 12. So we're going to go 12 through 20. And when you get it, say, still saved? Still saved. All right, so look, I'll read and you'll follow with me. It says, the body is a unit, though it is made up of many parts, and though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. And the body is not made up of one part, but of many. If the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the parts in the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. Amen. Come on. Lord, have blessed the reading and hearing of his holy word. Amen. Let me say also, we will have new members class after service. Give me a few minutes, and we'll get you done in time to get some of that good food downstairs. Amen? Amen. So, our theme, one body, one team, one goal. Amen. Let me praise God for this theme and thank our chairpersons, our co-chairs, who are giving us and praying through this. Let me say that the book of the church at Corinth was so dynamic that they had to have two books, 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians. The issues were so great and so challenging that Paul needed more space and then needed to send again another letter in order to both encourage the church, but also to ensure its very survival. That was the challenge. That was a challenge because Paul knew that even his years could be few. And so he needed to pour out enough in order that this church would have enough to survive the challenging and tempting times. So Paul, in his letters, is concerned about the longevity of the church. Right? And Paul is also concerned about that the church carries out its mission and that it not become hijacked with personal agendas and problems. Right. So Paul is trying to teach these saints how to be church. Right. And remember now, Paul is dealing with a group of conservative Jews who were raised conservatively in law. And then there's also a combination of Greeks and secular persons who were just a few months or few days before into the worship of idols and in secular and sinful understandings. And then there is an intellectual group that is trying to take over with intellect and then push Paul to the back of the theology and make his presence obsolete and unimportant. So, Paul has these concerns, and he is concerned with the church staying unified. Right. He is most aware, church, when humanity and flesh take over spirit. Right. When that happens now, we lost. When we become the fleshly church and not the spirit-filled church, our days are numbered. Right. Because spirit is the binding glue for all of us. Right. Spirit comes from the same cup, and we drink from the same cup. Flesh is such a variety and so immense, and it is difficult to understand and get a hold of. That's why spirit is so important to keep us intact. So there is a natural tension, church, that goes into play when the church is just trying to be the church. Keep in mind now, the devil was a choir director. So he started his mess in heaven. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Now, if the devil can cause mess in heaven, the church is free game for the devil. Come on, talk to me, somebody. This ain't even no match down here. You got the Lord to boot him out up here. Right. So you got to understand, like, I used to hear the elders say, look, the devil is busy. Right. And it seemed that they was referring to the antics of me and my cousins. Right. When we get in trouble, the devil is busy. Right. And so we were unaware ambassadors for the devil. Now, that's what can happen in the church. Right. We'll be up into some mess we didn't even know we was up in. But the devil will get us there. Amen? And we'll laugh while we in there. But the devil's greatest victory is to destroy the unity of the church. Now, Paul is a Pharisee. Now, and he's the son of a Pharisee. He was well aware of the challenges that his ancestors had just to be unified. And there are case studies throughout the Bible. We'll focus on major ones as we can go through all of them. But just look at the highlights, The first man and first woman, all they had to do is be united with God and listen to what God said. But something happened to us, right? And something happened to them, right? To where they broke away from the unity with God, and now we all pay the price today with sin. Right. Something that seemed so simple became so complex. Abraham and Sarah, now they broke unity with the Lord when they took matters into their own hands, right? And then what had happened is they created a soap opera in their own household. by asking one of the servants to bear a child for Abraham, believing that Sarah could not have the miracle of that childbirth. Right. So it seemed unified, and Abraham had a lot of unity issues. His own cousin Lot, he had to send away simply because the mess Lot was causing just in the journey to get to the promised land. Come on, we know Isaac and Jacob, the challenge between Jacob and Esau, time wasted when they could have been unified, but were destroyed by greed and carelessness. Joseph and his brothers who refused to use the gift of his dream for the betterment of the family, took it upon themselves to try to destroy their own brother simply because he was gifted. The flesh took over at that moment and then divided him. And it's so funny because God had to bring them back together. The same group that divided now had to be on their knees to be able to receive help from Joseph. Oh, who could forget the great drama of the Exodus and the disunity that led to the tensions in leadership, the ultimate destruction of Moses, unable to walk into the promised land of which he had led and had done so well in leading people to a point, but they became disunified. Even the prophets who speak to a stiff-necked people throughout the entirety of the Old Testament then culminated with simple fishermen disciples who lose unity on the question of who will sit on his right hand and who will sit on his left. Instead of just being happy to be saved, now they got to go ahead with the help of their mother, amen, to go ahead and now try to tear the group apart, trying to portray and push their own personal agenda. Oh, and that's why, my Jesus, he understood the nature of the humanity. And that's why his goal with unity was say, look, if you have a problem with your brother, take it to your brother. He receives you, you'll have a friend for life. Because Christ is aware of the conflict that occurs when the flesh takes over. Yes. And so Paul is aware now of the challenges of faith and unity, where personal agendas can overtake the will of God. This becomes the agenda. I have to be in charge, not you. No, so-and-so should be in charge and not you. Right? I've been here longer than you, so I deserve more than you. This is my seat, not your seat. It's my parking space, not your parking space.
Well, all right.
It's my pastor, not your pastor. I ain't heard that one yet. So Paul, and right off, and he's declaring in the beginning of the books, in the beginning of the letters in which he is sitting, that look, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So right there, he is approaching the challenge of unity. Because individuals are beginning to war within the body on who should be in control and who should be in control. So it's amazing the issues that will separate us. Organization will be against organization. Right? Member will be against member. One member will have a problem with another member. And then a gang of members got a problem with one member. And they don't even know what the original problem was.
Say that.
Breaks us apart. Now, unity, we have to be careful with unity for this. We can be unified in mess, and that'll destroy us. It's not a praise report that we all gossiping. It's not a praise report that we all backstabbing. Right. Well, so-and-so do it, so I do it. So we're unified. Not so. So we have to be careful of the causes that we attach ourselves to in order that we can ensure that we can be a one body. Right. Because where there becomes tension in the body, then that's how the cancer can take over the body. And it will then kill us. So Paul is declaring that our moment of unity cannot be hijacked by self-centeredness or hypocrisy. Of all churches, the church at Corinth seemed to be having the most problems. There were problems of doctrines, primarily how do we carry on as Christians. Problems of agendas. All of us bring an agenda into the church body, right? An agenda that is which most important to us. And I've always said, you've heard me say it several times before, if I did what all of y'all told me to do, it wouldn't be nobody left in here. The pastor would be gone, the preachers would be gone, wouldn't be nan deacon left standing. This music wouldn't be played, this music wouldn't be played. Everybody wants their own way instead of trying to come to the center in order that we can all enjoy. Right? That's the challenge, church. It is. I get it. Some of us like worship this way. Some of us like worship this way. Some like a quiet, calm worship. Some like shouting every pew over until they top over. Right? It's still praise nonetheless. So the challenge then is what we talk about, the common good. If everybody got their way, we wouldn't be a church no more. We would be all 100 different churches. Here, I'm going to go to the Church of Brunson right here. All right, I'm done there. Let me go to the Church of Davenport, which only have the Davenports. Amen? So again, Paul is concerned about that. And we have to be careful that our agenda does not determine how we view the church. But sometimes it can make us think less of another because we're so focused on the expression of our gifts. If only our gifts rule, church, then why do we invite new people to join us? Why would they want to? Are they not bringing new gifts themselves? Come on, just because they don't do it in the way that you do it, doesn't mean that they're wrong. Right? We all have different ways of being able to get to this, right? And Paul, as a leader in this church, he comes back in hopes to comfort the stress and strain that is occurring in the body. When the primary task in the beginning was the salvation of soul, it becomes hijacked by church politics and administration have entered into the fold, and now we have forgotten the very responsibility of the salvation of souls. Come on, look, to bring order to this chaos, Paul uses a familiar symbol, the human body. Right, he's writing just for this. He's writing for this crowd, but he's also writing for the ages to come to find something so easy for us to be able to see, and that the church can hold on to, and that can release the tension that we can have against one another. Right. The familiar symbol. Right. It seems the great God's primary creation is the human body. The intricacies of our body still baffle scientists to this day. How can it heal itself? How can it function? How can the parts just live together in harmony? Paul breaks open the secrets of harmony. There are parts that have to humble themselves depending upon the function. So one body part can't get upset when another and cannot become disconnected. If you're at the table sitting down, but you have to move, your legs to get up. You're about to eat, your sense of smell, your sense of taste have to come into play. So even down to the eyelash that protects the lint and the dust from getting into the eye is a necessary function. Not all the time will the eyelash have to go into effect, but when it's needed, they have to be there in order that we can see. Yes. I gathered a love for classical music when I took a class at Morehouse, and I feel, I used to listen to these, and I had one of those professors that was just like on TV. He would bring in this rowdy group of guys, and he would just start playing the music, and it was a record player with a record, if you can believe that, amen. And he was a conductor, and he would just, he had us, we had this little stick there, and he was directing like the orchestra was there. But he was teaching us a love and appreciation for this music. So when we left there, we began to see the different movements in music. I think I talked last week about understanding the crescendo, all of those things. And we began to learn them things. And we would see it, I would see it, and I think the best movie orchestra soundtrack is the Rocket theme. I don't know how y'all feel about that. But if you really listen to it, you'll see it's times you can hear the horns real clear. Then you'll hear the strings take over. And I may not hear the horns, and they may come to a small part of the piece. But at times I feel like there's tension with the strings and the horns, but they work it out to make a great piece of music. Yes, that's the thing, church. And that's how the church has to operate, The usher can carry the same weight as the praise team. The security can carry the same weight as the hospitality. The trustee can carry the same weight as a deacon. The maintenance or the pastor, the preacher, the choir, musicians can all participate in this tension that makes for beautiful music. We just have to recognize our place in the piece of music. The horns in the symphony can't go on strike and say, I'm not being given enough time. I want more time. And the strings can't walk away and say, no, we want more time. We accept our place in the piece because it's bigger than us. It's about the whole arrangement. That's unity. I'm playing a part in the symphony of the People's Institutional Baptist Church. Pastor Pinnick played a part in the symphony. Pastor Bradley played a part in the symphony. Pastor Landry played a part in the symphony to make the beautiful music of the church that we know as the People's Institutional Baptist Church. All those saints who was here before and who have gone on to glory play a part in the beautiful. At times their name was so high and so strong, and then times where they had to come down and somebody else took it on. The entire arrangement becomes bigger than the pastor. I'm going to quote our previous pastor, Pastor Landry. I don't know how many times I would hear him say, I never seen a U-Haul truck in the cemetery. Talk to me, somebody. I never seen a U-Haul truck in the cemetery. When our time is over, we don't pack up people's and travel down and it gets behind the hearse and go into the ground with us. The music keeps playing. There's a new melody that comes into place. 77 years does not arrive without some tension. It doesn't arrive without some strain, with some heartache and some pain. As your pastor in 7 years, I have put to rest some people that make me cry. It's a part of the arrangement that comes into place. You have seen it and we have said farewell, but we have also said hello to new souls. They now participate in this beautiful symphony of what it takes to be here 77 years. And the arrangement is still being written, church. It's not over yet. The church work is not easy. But the team has got to stick together for the souls to be saved. New souls will come, not in order to erase the ones that have been here, but only to enhance what has happened already. To push it forward into a new day with new opportunities that we bring the past with us. It is the understanding that the unity must occur. It's funny that how it goes in the 1 Corinthians 13, where it starts off by saying, I can have all these things, but without love I got nothing. Look, I got family just like your family, right? I've seen them fight and argue all night and get up for breakfast like nothing happened last night. You ever seen that? I mean, talk and talk. I've seen them on the phone. I mean, I'm hearing them yapping about some cousin. And then we end up there with the cousin and they hugging and loving like nothing happened. I got one cousin, he had passed on. They would talk about him. I mean, he did all these bad things and all these things, but when he come in the room, they are all over him with love. Right? Look, but that's family. Right? Look, the pastor gonna make some mistakes. I made some mistakes. But still show love to a brother, amen? You're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be tension, it's gonna be trials, it's gonna be tribulation. Yeah, but look, we can still love on one another within it. We have to for survival. It's not an accident that Paul is talking about unity in chapter 12, but love in chapter 13. He can't finish this book just talking about how we got to get together, but he gives us love as the send-off to say this is what it's going to take in order for the church to make it. That's our challenge before us, church. We'll have all our pompous circumstance at 3 o'clock. Come on, talk to me, somebody. We're going to show Bethlehem real good how much we love one another. Talk to me, somebody. Now, when they leave, we still got to keep that same love. Amen? Amen? Please do. Amen? Because love, survival is based upon the love. That's the thing. That's the thing about church. That's the thing about family. Right? Sometimes we can do the worst thing and family still love us. Sometimes members leave here and go out there and do terrible things. But we got to let them know that we're not abandoning them. That we're unified in purpose. Look, I'll leave you. The winning teams, they put aside their differences because they care about winning. We need to be that team. Don't look down at 77 as if it's just something that we do. What an accomplishment. But so much more for us to do. Come on, let's give God praise for his holy